Coral bleaching is a rapid and significant issue that poses a threat to millions of species on Earth, and humans are contributing to this issue in large ways daily, specifically through the use of skincare products like sunscreen that damage coral reefs through harsh chemicals. It is important that action is taken to reverse the damage and heal our reefs, and one idea I had to try and do that was to create a hopefully effective homemade all-natural reef-safe sunscreen. The first ingredient in my sunscreen is coconut oil, which has a natural SPF of 8. And alone, it would not be an effective natural sunscreen because it only blocks around 20% of the sun's harmful rays. However, on top of its SPF, it contains antioxidants that protect the skin, and it has anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, moisturizing, and antiviral properties. I used a double boil method to melt down the coconut oil to add to the mixture. Next, I added shea butter, which contains a natural SPF of 6 and several types of fatty acids that improve the skin's natural barrier and protect it from other damage from the environment, such as pollutants. Next up is olive oil, which is a great moisturizer and has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. I included it in the sunscreen because it helped with the consistency, and similar to coconut oil, olive oil has an SPF of around 8, and it protects from 20% of the sun's harmful rays. Walnut extract contains lots of vitamin E, which soothes and protects the skin, as well as various antioxidants. It also has vitamin B5, which is an anti-inflammatory, and it is moisturizing. The next ingredient, and one of the most important, is zinc oxide. It's known for its ability to protect the skin from both UVA and UVB rays. Zinc oxide is a UV filter, meaning it builds a protective layer on top of your skin instead of penetrating your skin, as many of the chemical UV filters traditionally used in sunscreens do. Pure zinc is believed to have an SPF of about 20, but it depends on how much you add to your sunscreen. The last ingredient is aloe vera. Aloe vera has soothing, anti-inflammatory, moisturizing, and even healing properties, and it also contributed to the smooth consistency of the sunscreen. The last step in making this sunscreen was to add the aloe vera gel to the bowl, as well as the zinc oxide and coconut oil mixture. It's hard to say exactly what SPF this reef-safe sunscreen has, as it depends on the amount of ingredients added, but it is definitely Lucy and Nelly approved. I tested whether or not this homemade sunscreen option is effective, and also how a sunscreen labeled reef safe and one that is not labeled that way perform in comparison. To do this, I used UV sensing stickers, which work by applying them to your skin and exposing them to the sun until they turn purple, then applying sunscreen over them until they return to clear. When the sticker turns purple again after prolonged UV exposure, it's time to reapply sunscreen. I applied homemade sunscreen closest to my hand, reef safe sunscreen next, and closest to my elbow I applied a non-reef safe sunscreen that I already had on hand. I put my arm directly under a UV bulb and took photos every 5 minutes for 20 minutes. By the end of the 20 minutes, it was clear that the least effective was my homemade sunscreen and the most effective was, unfortunately, the non-reef safe sunscreen. To sum it up, the all-natural sunscreen requires the most frequent reapplication. I am hopeful that a different formula could create a more effective solution to reduce damage to our coral reefs.